All right. I'd like to go ahead and open up the Tuesday, March 1st, 2022 Warrenton Board of Alderman meeting at this time. If you would, please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance with us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item would be the consent agenda.
We have the regular meeting minutes from February 15th, 2022.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Sorry. First by Alderman Crump. Seconded by Alderman Corder. Roll call vote.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Schultz,
Absent.
Alderman Crump,
Yes.
Alderman Corder,
Yes.
Alderman Cullum,
Yes.
Alderman Jaspering.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with one absent. Next will be public comments. We'd ask that you have anything you want to address to us, just come to the mic, or come to the podium, I'm sorry. Speak into the mic, just state your name and let us know your business. We'll give you 5 minutes to speak.
Hello, Roger Tucker, longtime resident here of Warren County, just live outside just the city limits here. I wanted to talk to you guys tonight just a little bit about City Ordinance 34110. It is the all-terrain vehicles, utility vehicles, golf carts, and recreational off-highway vehicle ordinance that restricts the use on city streets. A few years ago, you guys did pass an order or a revision to that, which allowed low-speed vehicles, which are basically golf carts by city definitions. Golf carts, there's a process to get those licensed or permitted for city streets. Surrounding areas, Washington and Wright City, have recently adopted pathways for ATVs, UTVs to be used on city streets, and would just like to see if you guys would be open to entertain the idea of a special work session or a committee to maybe look at those ordinances, and so that we could get those revised or amended, and what that process looked like.
I can say on my behalf I wouldn't mind it. I will, full-time job being in law enforcement, I can tell you, it sounds like the state is going to start cracking down on any lettered or other highways. It hasn't been official yet, but it sounds like it's going that way. But that doesn't mean anything if you're within city limits.
Right.
I mean, it's something we would have to kind of work out and see.
Right.
But I mean, I wouldn't mind entertaining a
What's it
workshop.
allow now?
State law is 3-mile radius from your home, and then it does allow local municipalities to adopt ordinances to allow that usage on city streets.
Well, and Mr. Tucker has a couple of citations that are pending municipal court, so I think we may disagree somewhat on what the state statute actually has about ATVs and UTVs. There was a change in the law about, I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, where the state mandated that cities essentially said low-speed vehicles, which are vehicles that are essentially golf carts, cannot go over a certain speed limit and whatnot. I remember all the details of it. Low-speed vehicles were allowed to go on city streets and could cross state highways. That we essentially updated our ordinance, and the Board of Aldermen at that time recognized the fact that the low-speed vehicles, which are, there's a whole market for them, they're not just golf carts, they're required to have all the safety equipment and whatnot, would be required now by state law to be allowed on city streets. But at that point in time, the board did not want to get into the ATV, UTV because of safety equipment issues, allowing them on city streets, safety equipment issues, inspection issues, insurance issues. And so they essentially said, you can't do that. You can't drive those on city streets. And that's kind of where ATVs and four-wheelers and whatnot, and we've always prosecuted those in municipal court. But the low-speed vehicles, because of the mandate by state statute, are now allowed. And we could dig up that research and kind of the process, what we went through, and kind of say, here's the history of why we adopted the ordinances we did. I think I've been here, I was just talking to Brandy, 15 years plus, and we've always prosecuted ATVs and UTVs. The only reason they allowed the golf cart, low-speed vehicles was because state statute had changed and
Oh,
required.
it's just a golf cart? You're saying it's allowed right now?
Yeah, it's a golf cart with full safety equipment. It's got a speed limit limitation, and we adopted, quote unquote, you're allowed to adopt reasonable regulations on it, and we adopted, a regulations that authorized us to basically approve and inspect them, basically a kind of a quasi-permitting process to make sure that, they had, the basic safety equipment, seat belts and whatnot on the low-speed vehicles.
What's the state law on that being on a state highway?
Well, the low-speed vehicles can cross certain state roadways depending on, the demarcation and whatnot. You can cross them, so you actually could get on a golf cart and cross Highway 47 from Main Street under state law.
What about UTVs and ATVs on state highways?
Well, those are not allowed on state highways. That's always been the law. They're not allowed on state highways.
Like 47?
Correct,
Okay,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Highway M?
Yes.
It would
Yeah.
not be allowed on
Yeah,
there.
and the city has never allowed ATVs, four-wheelers, or UTVs on state roadways.
But we're just following the law, is that what you're saying?
We are. I mean, there are some cities that are, with the low-speed vehicles, it becomes kind of difficult to differentiate between a golf cart that can go, I think is it less than 20 miles an hour, Roger?
Correct, 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, differentiate between a golf cart that can go 20 miles an hour and one that can go 35 miles an hour. I mean, unless you were running and gunning, I don't know, you could test the speed. Some communities absolutely have gone to kind of low-speed vehicle or golf pass, ATV pass and whatnot to have as an alternative. Some communities feel that they save money. That was part of when that information was brought to the city and there was some requests for the low-speed vehicles, and we have had sellers of low-speed vehicles interface with the city about this. Was pitched as this is a way to conserve gas. These are electric vehicles. It's green.
But I think all in all, you guys may disagree with me, and that's fine. I think what he's asking for is a workshop meeting just to be able to discuss this and more.
We can change this, right?
We can.
Yes.
Yeah, and be able to look into, I think it would behoove us to maybe even get a hold of state. Like I said, it's just grumblings that's happening, but I'd like to hear what they have to say too, in case there is a change coming. As you know, I'm not knocking it, but one or two accidents that could happen in northern Missouri affect the whole state, it seems like. So I think it's worth entertaining a good workshop meeting to talk about it.
Yeah, I would love to come to that workshop meeting. As Chris had mentioned, there is a couple citations that I was hoping that would have worked their way through the court system by now, but I would like to get this.
Yes.
There's plenty of case law that we could bring, and I don't want to show my hand to the city attorney
No,
right
you
now.
got it.
But,
I got it.
There's plenty of case law that supports this. It's actually disappointing that he doesn't actually know the state law, and we'll get that brought out. Because state law specifically says 3-mile radius within your home, and there's no designations on letter highways or anything, and I'd
No.
love to bring that information to you guys if you would.
I don't know if there's designation on that, actually. I think the statute actually goes into the fact that it's actually for any farm implementation or work on that.
It's incorrect.
Oh, I remember reading it.
I know, you can, yeah, and that's what, this would be good, to work through that work session with you guys. Since these, I got my side-by-side 2 years ago and had no problems up until last fall driving through, reasonable through the city. And then all of a sudden we had problems with it. And,
Wright City just passed this, you said?
Wright City and Washington have
Yeah.
just passed.
So if they know there's something coming down the pipeline from the state, why would them two municipalities pass that?
Sometimes
Nice
they
thing.
don't know. Depends on which state trooper you're talking to and how high up the chain they are. I hate to say that. I hope I'm not stepping out of bounds on that, but sometimes the higher you up are politically, you see the stuff coming down the pipe, and it doesn't always trickle down to all the municipalities or the counties that they're in.
Correct, yeah. So if you guys I would be ecstatic to
Yeah, I'm
attend a
open to
work
that.
session.
I'm open to a work session. I guess my biggest thing would be, how do you put liability on the person driving the golf cart or whatever? Like, is it like a car where you have to get insurance that covers all that?
Correct.
Yeah.
All-
Okay.
There's insurance available for all of these vehicles, ATVs, UTVs, all-terrain vehicles, and insurance.
I'm all for that.
Street legal kits
Just to
and
put that out there. I'm
blinkers,
okay with
mine's
all that.
properly equipped with horns, wipers, lights, turn signals, DOT brakes, DOT tires. I mean, it's come a long way, and the laws have been revised, and there's now there's case law to support a lot of these changes.
Get a hold of City Hall. We'll probably discuss it in the near future of setting a workshop date and time, and I say near future, probably within the next month.
I appreciate your time.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
That's 341. By the way, I think it's at 34110. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's
340.110.
All right. Next, we Board of Alderman, or is there anybody else in the public that would like to speak? Or Adam, if you want to speak. No? Okay. Next, we Board of Alderman comments. All right. Next, will be mayor comments. I'll keep mine short and sweet. Reappointment of Steve Heitz and Franklin Sears to the Warren County Commons CID with, or Warrenton Commons CID with a term expiring January 16th of 2026. Any questions on that? I'll entertain a motion to approve the reappointment of Steve Heitz and Franklin Sears in the Warrenton Commons CID and the term expiring on January 16th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Delloy, seconded by Alderman Cullum. Roll call vote.
Alderman Crump.
Yes.
Alderman Porter.
Yes.
Alderman Cullum.
Yes.
Alderman Jaspering.
Yes.
Alderman Deloy.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with one absent. Next will be the firework usage. I will tell you, this was brought up to me, and I'll say it just like I've said it in the past. 3 people came up to me, 2 of which asked about extending the days. One came up to me with an actual plan who said that they'd like to see it like, I believe it was St. Charles County's, which was 3 days ahead and 1 day after with the day of, so a 5-day window of being able to shoot off fireworks. I believe it was the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, then the day of the 4th, and then the 5th, and that was it. They had talked, or they had said, mentioned, didn't say a time, but they had mentioned that sometimes it only gets dark at 10, and you only got 1 hour to see fireworks. They wanted to see if it could go till 12. I didn't know if anybody would be open to that, but I figured it'd be good for a little topic discussion since we hadn't had one of those for a while. And I think Brandy provided the information for what we currently are at, what Wright City is at, and what Truesdale is at. I do like the fact that Truesdale did add New Year's Eve. That was kind of a nice adding. The only reason I brought this up is, well, I won't say the only, there's a couple reasons. Number one, I get the enjoyment of fireworks, but number two, Chief, you may want to comment on this, but I think it would cut down on how much your guys would have to probably run on those days leading up to it, how much they have to go. And it's not probably not tremendous, but they still try to have to decipher whether it's city limits or not, where it's at, what's going on with it. And
We'll get the calls no matter what.
Who actually
a
fired?
little bit easier to say, though, it is legal, or
Then, yes, the resolution of those calls is easier. However, I see the point when people, especially when 4th of July falls on a weeknight, and people have to get up and go to work the next day.
no, I get it.
I feel their pain on that, so.
No, I feel for it too, but at the same time, I mean,
Control on it.
a 2-day
How
window
late
of being able to shoot sometimes isn't all that great, especially
Well,
when our
it's-
sales are 620 to
I mean,
710.
Truesdale's already doing it. I mean, people in Warrenton are gonna see the stuff from Truesdale. It's not like you're shut off from it. So,
Well, and I think the other part is in county, it's unlimited. There is nothing. So they
Right.
can shoot whenever they want, how they want. And I think sometimes that is on our outer edges, that is a little hard to determine. And sometimes we get those calls when it's not even our area. But, you know, I didn't know how you guys felt about it.
I don't know about going through the 10th like they do, but
Yeah.
that's quite a bit.
I think they based that on their sale date, because you could sell fireworks till the 10th.
Oh,
That's why they came up with
Well,
that.
should
Right.
we extend it out to 620 then too?
Yeah. Right.
I don't know if you guys are opposing to it or if you're, you know.
I'm okay with
I'm okay with extending.
going from the 1st to the 5th.
I would do that.
Yes.
And even add the New Year's Eve too, because people do it anyway. So, I mean,
Is there any?
are we doing any,
Citations?
yeah, are we putting people in court and making money off of this or no?
We have in the past, but when there was no,
When there was no allowance for it at all, then there was a lot of tickets written. And however, since the new ordinance went into effect,
Nonchalant.
it's been great, yeah.
Cool.
I mean, obviously, we still get calls when people are shooting them late. People
Right.
still try to fudge it on either side of the allowance date, but putting this in effect has greatly reduced our call load.
so I think, I don't think anybody's sounding like they oppose the date extension. What about 11? Do we still want to keep it 11, or do we want to try and go to midnight
Go to midnight,
I said
yeah.
midnight on those 2 days, yeah.
on the 3rd and 4th?
Yeah. And then like Alderman Deloy said, just go to the 5th. You guys all go with that?
Yeah, the day
So
after.
11 on every other night?
First through the 5th, and just go to midnight on the
3rd and 4th?
3rd and 4th?
Yeah.
Good? Do we want to have the counselor start maybe drafting something up on our ordinance to look at?
And I would put New Year's Eve in there also.
Yeah, yeah,
New Year's
yeah.
Eve until
Yeah,
midnight.
for sure.
I think it was actually whoever had the forethought of that is, I never even thought about it. I'm sure if we switch ours, Wright City will probably start considering maybe adding it to theirs. So, all right, cool.
So you're good with the 5th, 1st through the 5th? and
1st to the 5th.
Till 11 on the 1st, 2nd, and then 3rd and 4th will be till midnight, and the 5th it'll be back till 11.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
And we could put something out, newsletter or something else, because we have plenty in between now and then.
Oh, yeah, we'll
That'll
put
kind of let everybody know within city limits of the changes. And I'm sure we'll get phone calls then about
Why
who
we did
doesn't
that,
like
yeah.
it.
Yeah, of course.
We never get the phone calls of who does like that. It's always who doesn't like it.
Right.
All right, excellent. Next, we'll hear from City Administrator Brandy Walters.
Good evening. I don't really have anything for you, but I wanted to let you know that the Greater Warren County Economic Development Council is going to do a cocktails and conversations. They're going to try and do this, I believe it's going to be like quarterly, and their next one is going to be March 29th from 5 to 6:30 at the Elks Lodge. And everyone's invited. All of you guys are invited.
March what day? 29th?
March 29th, yes.
Conversations and cocktails.
And they're going to have different businesses there and just kind of give a brief update of what they're doing.
Sounds like, Adam, you may want to make that one. More for the cocktails than maybe the conversations, but
That's all I have.
thank you. Next, we'll hear from Finance Officer Dana Belaska.
Good evening. You have before you a list of claims totaling $419,801.42. Were there any questions about that list?
I'll entertain a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $419,801.42.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Crump, seconded by Alderman Quarter. Roll call vote.
Alderman Quarter?
Yes.
Alderman Cullum?
Yes.
Alderman Jaspering?
Yes.
Alderman Deloy,
Yes.
Alderman Crump?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 with one absent. Go ahead.
You also have before you financials as of January this year. So you'll notice that in the general fund, revenues are about $59,000 above budget. So a mixture there. You have sales tax and franchise fees that are running slightly above budget. And then you have court, police fines, those are running below budget. And permitting, so again, we've had a drop in housing starts, so permits are about $52,000 below budget. In operating expenses in the general fund, they are about $247,000 below budget, of which $167,000 is made up of wages due to vacancies that are below budget. In the water and sewer fund, revenues are $185,000 above budget. So related to normal residential and commercial water sales, about $23,000 of that. Again, we've had a large water adjustment with the Coke plant, $112,000. Then sewer sales are about $56,000 above budget. And industrial sewer is about $17,000 below budget. And then again, related to those drop in housing starts, connection fees are running about $42,000 below budget. Water sewer fund operating expenses, about $55,000 below budget, of which $42,000 is, again, vacancies and wage related. Were there any questions on the January financials?
Have any? Everybody's good? Thank you, Dan. Next, we'll hear from the Aquatics Director, Lisa Kramer.
Good evening. You have my February Aquatics monthly report in front of you. February was a very good month, considering that we were closed for 6.5 days to ice and snow. We had 1,400 people come through the doors for February, which is 780 more than we had last year at this time. We renewed or sold 60 memberships this month. This number is a little higher than expected because when we were in 2020 for COVID, we extended memberships for 4 months. So most of our memberships happen in October, since that's when we opened the pool, and February is the month that we extended it to, so a lot of renewals for that. The Daddy-Daughter Dance was at the beginning of the month. We had 76 people attend that. I hope and believe everybody had a great time. We were at full capacity in this room, so we're looking at next year either doing 2 sessions of the Daddy-Daughter Dance or looking for a new facility to have it in, so that we can accommodate more people. And just some upcoming events. In March, on the 19th, we're having our second Splash and Pajama Party of the year. So we're looking for registrations for that. And on April 9th, we will have the Extravaganza Carnival in the parking lot of the Aquatics Center. And you won't have to stay in your car this year. You'll be able to get out and play. Does anybody have any questions?
We would do. Oh. Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Grounds and Maintenance Director Brad Boozy-Cruz.
Good evening. You have my monthly report. Maintenance is up considerably due to we've been working at the City Hall and the Willow Road House. We've got the flooring in for that now, so we'll be starting that project out there. Get that done so Brenda can have that back. We also are doing the soccer fields. Soccer's coming up. Practice starts next Monday. So we are moving the golds and getting all those. Starting painting all the soccer fields. We're meeting with Nicole tomorrow about I think we have 16 U10 teams this year, so we're trying to figure out where we're going to fit all these in, and we're probably going to have to build some more golds, so we're going to see what we can do with that. Also, this is March, so February, the cemetery, if you have any flowers that you want to get off, because we're going to start cleaning everything off, so all the Christmas flowers, if they want them, they better get them, because we're going to go through and start getting, because we're going to get into mowing season here shortly, so that part, we need to get that done, so, but that's about all we have right now.
Questions?
So you said something about new goals. Do we have a plan for that? If we're going to get new ones?
We're going to build them. We'll have to build them, because they're the cheapest ones we found were $1,200 for one.
For one goal?
And we need four sets. So we have no option but to make them. So
right.
We're looking at John Struckhoff looked for some steel today, or we found some steel, some square tubing, and I think we got a couple other people looking to see if we can maybe acquire some.
Yeah.
And we'll see what we can do. We built the or we didn't, but the soccer thing built it last time, and then John Brockfeld helped us out with some of the smaller ones. We did those out at the tire store. So we're going to try to find a way to get it done. So then we're going to have to get nets for them and stuff.
Do you
so.
plan on putting them fields over there on the other parking lot there?
We're gonna, yeah, we're gonna have to spread them out. I mean, some of the game fields are even gonna have to be, I think what we're gonna try to do is put them up on the outfield of the east side, those 1 and 2 fields.
Oh,
So
the
it won't
baseball
interfere with the T-ball practice. Then that's actually pretty good ground up in there. That's really, put maybe the smaller one, we're thinking about using the U6 up there and then using the U6 field, try to get 2 U10 fields on there. I don't know, we're gonna see what we can do. We're gonna try to fit it in. We didn't, kind of sprung it on us here that they had that many U10
That's a lot.
themes. Yeah, it is,
More than I heard, for sure.
Yeah, it's quite a few, so we'll see what we can do.
Cool. Sounds good.
Any other questions for Brad? Thank you.
Welcome.
Next, we'll hear from Public Works Director Guy Jeevers.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. First item is my monthly report. A few highlights off of that is we repaired 3 water main valves on Warrior, a water service on Walton and McKinley, a sewer repair on North 47, and our snow and ice removal. Few things we got project-wise is the sewer line from Fairlane to the sewer plant, Highway 47 boring's completed, and the force main is being installed right now. At the wastewater treatment plant, the UV disinfection system, we're waiting for material for that to come in. That should be in the next couple of weeks. The stormwater on West Boone Slick, the work has been completed, except for the grading, seeding, and strawing, and that'll be done in the spring. The CIP pipe lining cleaning has been completed. We bid it out for 2-point repairs. It appears that we have 5-point repairs. We're reviewing the video that now to verify the 5-point repairs. The industrial water tower bid openings was on Monday. Engineering is looking at that and checking references and going over the bid tabs. And the water lines, the new water lines on Vassal, McKinley, and Steinhagen will be going out for bid this week. So we'll have them coming in too. Any questions? That's all I have.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to close the regular Board of Alderman meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Who'd you give for second?
Jeff.
We'll go with Jaspering.
Sure.
Motion made by Alderman Cullum, second by Alderman Jaspering. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. We are so adjourned. Thank you.